Hello kids, and welcome to the Young Writers Award Contest 2023. We at the LLE department are very excited to be bringing this opportunity to all of you to write and submit your stories so that we may all go on these wonderful fantasy adventures with you this year. This contest will give you a chance to create imaginary landscapes and fantastical creatures and characters and go on incredible adventures. And the best part is, once we read your stories, we will all be able to go on these wonderful adventures with you. Now, the story submissions begin on the 20th of February at your schools, and the last date for submission is going to be the 20th of March, which gives you ample time to research, brainstorm, draft, redraft, and finalize your stories, as well as edit and proofread before submitting the final copies to your school. The best part about the story writing contest is that you will also have the opportunities to create drawings and illustrations that can help us go on these adventures with you. So go into the depths of your imagination, my friends, and pull out the best landscapes, the most amazing colors, the most fantastical creatures, and we can't wait to read your stories. One of the key elements of a story is an idea. Now, an idea, especially with regards to a fictional story, can be anything you want it to be. It can involve something that is completely made up, a landscape that is completely made up, a planet, a country, a time, space, wherever you want your story to be set. The characters in your story all revolve around an idea. And this is my favorite part about writing a story, which is called brainstorming, where you rack your little minds for ideas and creativity. Go into the depths of your imagination and pull out something fun, creative, and original. I look forward to hearing and reading about your ideas. Now, secondly, we spoke about characters and settings. These are also incredibly important elements of a story. Who are the main characters of your story going to be? Is there going to be one or many? Is there going to be a good guy and a bad guy? The setting of the story is where your story takes place. Now, since the genre of the story writing contest is fantasy adventure, the theme of your story can be set anywhere. Like I said, it could be a planet, a country, a land, any place where time doesn't exist or it does, where there are aliens. I'm not going to give you guys too many ideas, but you get the picture. Another key important element of story writing is the fact that every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, this is an incredibly important way as to how to structure your story. In the beginning of your story, what is it important to introduce? Where does your story begin? Who are we introduced to in the beginning of your story? Where is the beginning of your story set? What all happens in the beginning of your story? Are we going to start off in the middle of an adventure, or are you going to start off introducing us to the space, the place, and the time, and the characters of your story? It is all up to you. Have fun with the beginning of your story. Sometimes the best stories and the most intriguing stories are the stories that pull you in from the very first sentence. So think about it and make your beginning a strong beginning. In the middle of your story is where the story really starts fleshing out. This is where your story gets meaty. And in order to make your story interesting, especially if it's going to be a fantasy adventure story, I suggest that you introduce something known as a conflict. Now, a conflict is usually just another word for a problem, an exciting adventure, something that needs a resolution. Once there is a conflict, the characters have to figure out how to resolve that conflict, how to figure out how to solve that problem. What adventure must they go on to seek the answers that they need? A conflict is usually, like I said, the meat of the story, and you can think of an interesting conflict and then a turning point. A turning point is when the characters finally maybe figure out how to resolve that conflict. What do they need to do in order to figure out a problem? What ideas do they come up with? What plans do they make? Who all do they meet on their journeys? This is all a part of the middle of the story, the crux of the story. Now, finally, the end of the story. How would you like to conclude this wonderful story that you have written? What message would you like your story to have carried? Will it convey itself through the end of your story? What happens once the characters reach their final resolution? Once they have solved the problem? Once they have finished their adventure and come to an end to their journeys? This is all up to you, and you can make it as interesting and as impactful as you wish. Like I said, along the way, you have the wonderful option of drawing and illustrating parts of your story. So you can choose whether to illustrate the beginning, the middle, or the end. So again, let's do a quick recap of what your story needs. To begin with, your story needs an idea. Something fresh, something imaginative, something original, and something fun. Now, secondly, your story needs characters and settings. Where will your story be set? What landscape, what planet, what space, what time? Your characters. Who will the characters in your story be? Now, coming down to the structure of the story, you must remember that your story must have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, in the middle of your story, which is the meaty part of your story and the crux of your story, you must have a conflict or a problem and how that problem needs a resolution. How do the characters, and finally we come to the end of the story. How would you like to wrap up your story? Where do the characters go once the story is ending? Is the story a happy one, a sad one? Is there a message for the readers? Is there something that we can all learn from with regards to what the story is about? Like I said, that is all up to you. And now, I can't wait to read all of your stories. We are incredibly excited to read about the adventures that you will all take us on. Good luck!